Okay, guys, I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into this. I'm going to be doing a live stream where I'm going to be talking about characters, what I'm doing with loot, what these little index cards are, what this little envelope system is going to be for. And I'm kind of checking to see if everything else is kind of in like a default or whatever. And I'm checking a couple different systems. As you can see here, I'm going to shrink this down so maybe you don't see it as strong. Put that over here a little bit. There we go. Don't need that out. Certainly don't need these out. All right. I think that's pretty good. I'll be able to see my chat as I need to be able to see my chat. I have a bunch of sheets here that I've printed off because I feel like it's important. And I wanted to go ahead and talk to you real quickly about what I got going on. I need to fix one thing. Interesting. That should be fine. Okay. So in B1, which I have the actual module over here. Let's see. Where do I have it? It's in one of these. Maybe? Ooh, how about knock the miniature off I don't want to knock off? Yep, that's B2. It shouldn't be in my expert box set, but it might have been snuck in there by mistake. Nope, that's X1. This is in my home edition box. So for those of you who watched my Towers and Opus video, I had these right here. These are the character sheets I used in that one, and the characters that survived over there, including a couple that I'm not using right now. One of those being Lamunda. Okay, it's not in here, which is where it should be. About knocked over this beholder I'm painting. He's an undead beholder. You can check him out. My viewers aren't necessarily the hugest fans of me actually painting, but I think they appreciate the stuff when it's done. Here it is. Okay, so here's my copy of B1. I bought it for 50 cents several years ago at a game store that frankly didn't know that these had any real value or didn't care because they were old or whatever. Anyways, in here there are several pages I have printed off, and of the pages that are in there that are interesting, I guess you could say, they have a system. And I want to show you. You can see here. Let me get to a different one. My book is falling apart. Unfortunately, it's not in the best condition. But it's a together book. Okay. So here, in this room, you see that it says Black Widow Spider. You can see that right there. Handwritten right next to where it says monster, and it has a colon. That is literally how this whole thing is done. And I'm going to put this back over here because I just don't want to touch this book a whole lot. Actually, I'll put it up here for maybe over here on top of miniatures. That's fine. The reason why they have that is they have created what they call monster lists. You can see it kind of printed out right here. And the very bottom of the page, and then on the start of the next page, you have lists of monsters. And then you have lists of treasures. Every room has monsters and treasure potentials, but they don't figure that out. You have to figure that out by rolling dice, making your time of playing B1 close to unique as one could possibly make it. Sure, that Black Widow spider might be in a different room, or it might have a different reason for whatever, or it may not even be in that group of monsters. The way it says here is that there are 25, I want to say, of the monsters, yes. And you should use between 16 and 20 of those monster listings. So a monster listing could be 2 to 7 orcs. It could be a huge spider. In this case, probably the Black Widow. You get the general idea. They also have this, though, going back farther. When they talk about what henchmen are and how hirelings are different, and what hirelings are and how henchmen are different. And then it gets into non-player character personalities. And then there are clerics, there are fighters, and the same thing I was doing with the Green Dragon Inn from Towers and Opus, and the 2 different trading caravans I had. One was the Golden Pearl, and the other one was the West Hills Trading Co. Those are going to do the same thing as what I'm going to do here, but because this provides it, I wanted to go ahead and print off character sheets and then do the characters up. And there are armors and equipment, and as you roll for the basics, shall we say, the mere basics, and then you roll to see if they're evil and that type of stuff, and we go from there. Also, when it comes to like magic users, they roll for literally what spells they have and that type of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while I sit here, and if we have people that join us and want to talk, then they can do that, and if they don't, then people can watch us on the replay, and I'll talk to them more there and more in the comments or the community posts that I'm going to be doing talking about this. Speaking of community posts, I have a community post right now where I took my original characters, these 3 here, and I went ahead and made them, switched them over. So we have Indo, we have Ranilda, and then we have Oddberg. Well, we have 2 new characters, and one we named Character 1, just for temporary purposes. And he's a neutral good cleric. And then we have a different character, which is going to be a combination character, which I have not talked about yet on my channel outside of making that video, because that's not a thing in Homes Edition. It's not a thing in original Dungeons and Dragons. They have multi-class in AD&D, and we have elves through all of the things. But this is more than that. So far, only one person has posted anything, and their recommendation was to go with a cleric thief. Now, I've posted the character stats. I've said that the character probably is going to have to be human, because in the Prentice Rules, there are only human of those, because the journeyman rules are meant to expand that and to go farther. So what am I doing? Okay, before I get to that, before I get to what else I'm doing, what do I need? I need you guys to go ahead and post on the forums or the little community post, whatever you want to call it, and I want you to post in there potential names and what you're thinking for a class combination. So far, based upon the stats and everything, one guy came up with, I think, a character he plays in his own game called the Evangelist. I don't know if he puts "the" in front of it, but it almost sounds like it needs that. But the Evangelist is the name of the character, and it is a cleric thief. That's a little bit of a spicy combination with a spicy name, not individually, but all combined. I feel like that's a pretty spicy combination. So if you guys like that, let me know in the comments down below, or in the comments of that community post. And if you have a different thought, let me know down below or in the community post, and we'll take that into consideration. Okay, so why do I have these? Why did I go pick this up? Well, I'm going to say green is going to be for potential loot cards, and we'll use pink for right now. Or let's go with the orange. I don't want to get too close to the same color on the last two. So we're going to do orange for encounters. And I'm going to go ahead and figure out how many rooms there are. I think there's about 60. And there should be 100 per color of what I got here. And what that means is that I will have 60 cards that go inside envelopes, and we will figure out what sorry, trying to separate these by color. Okay, so we're gonna have 60 rooms or so, and of those 60 rooms, I have a green and I have an orange. Both these are going to go inside here. Some of these I'm going to write the encounters on there, what you find, unguarded loot, encounter. Both at the same time, both have something on it. That is going to be an encounter with loot. Okay. Then there are going to be some of these that don't have anything, but they're still going to go in an envelope, still going to go together. I'm then going to shuffle all those up, and I'm going to write on the outside of the envelope what room number it is. So I don't know which one it is. So as I go into the dungeon and I get to room 2, or whatever it's called, I look at that room, I open the envelope, and that's when I find out what you're fighting, what you're facing. There are things in the dungeon that are prescribed to certain rooms, so that could make the fights more interesting, more difficult, or less interesting and less difficult if it's nothing. So in a room that might normally have nothing in it, it might have something now that is there. And that's just what we're going to have. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. I think you know how writing stuff on that works. I've got my character sheets here. I've been working on some of this today when I had a little bit of downtime. Work might be calling me in. I am on call tonight. So if I have to leave all of a sudden, then you know what's up. Anyways, I have 2 fighting mage character sheets from the BLUEHOLME character sheets. And we're going to talk a lot about BLUEHOLME. That is the version of D&D I'm playing. It is based on the Holmes edition, which was made in 1977. You saw me with my box set earlier. Let me go ahead and pull it out again. It's called BLUEHOLME, not because the box is necessarily blue, but because the dragon and all of this is blue. And speaking of which, I actually have the dragon. I don't know if you guys saw that one point in time, but really cool. Okay, so this is Holmes Edition, the original, built in 1977. This one was probably made in 78 just because of what edition it is or which printing it is. But this whole box set came out with that. One of the modules it came out with is the B1 In Search of the Unknown, except that one was a monochrome, not the full color one. The full color one was one that was sold separately. And then later, they also had geomorphs, which I also have, and they also had the dungeon accessory stuff. Okay, so they came out with this one here for a while, if I'm not mistaken, the Dungeons and Dragons Fantasy Adventure Monster and Treasure Assortment. Okay, and it came out with the Dungeon Geomorphs. So both of these were potentially found inside that box set, or you got B1 In Search of the Unknown. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to put this over here, so I don't have to fight that. But when I was going through the fighter section, what I realized is there was 2 elves. So I've went ahead and saved them for now. And now I'm going to go ahead and make the character up. And I'm not doing the full character at first. When I get done with the fighting men, then I'll go through and I'll roll for like what they have for each one of them, and we'll go from there. So one of the cool things about doing it this way is I'm using the original character's name. So when I talk about Alho, the Renegade, right? You might know if you have the module, and you can go look at the stats and you can see what it is, and that's kind of cool. I talk about Lefto, the halfling. You can go look and see what his stats are and what the thing is. They don't really have male and female, and that's a bit unfortunate. I think when I do this in the future, I'm going to be including more males and female. Now with my group, I rolled male and female. It turned out they both were male, and we do have a female, but that was the only one. So I'm going to play it this way for now, and then I might go and change some of their names later into Alhothina or something like that. I don't know. And we'll come up with something. Or Norin, the barbarian, will be Norina, the barbarian, and then we'll make her a female. But for right now, I'm not going to worry about that. I have plenty of whiteout, so I'll go ahead and do that with whiteout if I need a little tape whiteout. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if I want to use this for this. There's potential of me changing stuff. So we have an elf named Evro. E-V-R-O. Maybe this pin works. And I see we have someone watching right now. It's great. Thank you for joining us. I'm just waiting to see if there's any conversation or questions. I am completely willing to talk about either the difference between Holmes Edition or original Dungeons & Dragons or Blue Homes, which Blue Homes came out in 2017. So if you're new to my channel, this is what I do. I talk a lot about early Dungeons and Dragons. Please do not feel afraid to ask. Most people don't know the different editions. When you say 1E, everyone thinks you're talking about the 3 white books that came in a little brown box. They have no idea that there was several editions that came out before 1E, what most people would consider 1E. And what most people consider 1E is actually AD&D First Edition. And if you say First Edition, they still think you're talking about something older not what came out. Literally, technically, the Dungeon Master Guide didn't come out until much later, but the Monster Manual came out in 1977, which is 3 years after D&D started. Okay, so this one here, the last one is Show Rimbo. Horrible elven name. SHO hyphen E, sorry, R E M B O. This might have nostalgia for someone, but I don't think the person that made that name is a fan of elves. So, ooh, I'm a fan of that con. This is a terrible, terrible character. Holy cow. But the constitution of this character is a wild dichotomy from the rest of the stats. Stats go 9, 11, 9. So that's strength, intelligence, wisdom. His dexterity is 9 and his charisma is 7. But his constitution's 18. I don't feel like that's a natural specimen. Apologize if you can hear my phone. Like I said a few minutes ago, I'm actually on call. Let me go ahead and grab my dice. Also, I'm not exactly 100% sure people are going to be able to see my dice the way I want. The problem I'm facing is some of my USB ports in my very old computer have died, for lack of better terminology. They're no longer with us. And so a lot of my stuff is glitching and not working the way I want it to. I don't know what I need here for dice. I know I need D12s. I see 3D6 and some stuff, so let me get that. Get 3D6. I see D12s. I'm going to grab a D10 because you never know. I'm about to get a percent off. I'm going to grab one, right? Got me a D4. Let me grab a second D4 just in case. This is the reason why I bought this dice set, was that these allow you to be able to see it from the top, which is so nice. And they were jumbo size. So here is Oddberg, my cleric, and there's my D4. You can see how much bigger that is and why this is a good thing, because you can be able to see it. Okay, the problem I have is my secondary camera that be over there allowing you to see a split screen with you looking down is not functioning currently. Till I get that. They're supposed to be here Friday. So a live stream, maybe 2, probably not, but maybe 2. I'm going to have that problem. And then I don't know, I'm going to get that camera, my best camera, to work by the time I have to get my Blue Homes video done. It's a video I've got coming along. Okay, so we have 12 different options for armor, arms and armor. This is why I need a different color set of these dice. I'm going to roll this twice. Here is for, the first roll will be for armament. Second roll will be for armor. Okay. That is a 6. So number 1 is Brandon. He's a human fighter. He's going to have number 6, which is a sword. Talks about the fact in this that you never know what people start with. You can't really judge that way. This is a 5 for armor. So someone starting with more or less is potentially there. Unfortunately, a 5 is leather with shield. Wow. Which is going to give him a whopping AC of 6. So swords are fine. They do a D6 like all weapons in Home's Edition. You really are not going to do better than that. But that is sort of his reality. Now, somewhere around here, I have paper clips. And I have a bunch of them. But I also have a daughter or two. And one in particular likes to borrow or play with my paper clips. Here we go. I got some paper clips. So when I get done with all the fighters, I'll go ahead and paper clip them up. And we will go from there. Okay, so first one down. Next one is 11. That's a flail. This is a fighting mage. Still the same thing. Okay, but the weapons and armor are in different places. So, since I'm on elf, I'll go ahead and talk about elves. Let me roll the armor real quick. Interesting. 8. That's going to be chainmail. So, you can use, as an elf, any type of armor, any type of weapons. However, you cannot cast spells while you are wearing metal armor. So, he can have chainmail, but he cannot cast spells while wearing it. So whatever spells he has will probably be like a buffing spell that lasts hopefully 60 minutes. If he's lucky enough to get that, we'll roll in a second to see what spells he has. Because he will be treated as a magic user. I should be able to do that right now, actually. I probably should be rolling for personalities. I'll roll for personalities later. Okay. Okay, so wow, they are not. They are brutal. I am going to give him his minimum in spells. I need a D20. Because there's 20 spells. There's not 20 spells. They weight their spells. So the spells, like there's light twice on the list, for example. Some of the spells are on there more than others, and things like ventriloquism are only on there once. So that is a thing. Now, Mr. Ivro here has a 13 intelligence. Let me look at that real quick. Oh, hello guys. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be pulling up the rules real quick for Blue Homes. Let me move that to a different screen so I can see that just a little better. Actually, I could probably put that over here. That's a thing. That's an okay thing for you to look at, I think. Sorry for the... So let's look at magic users. Now, 13 intelligence has a minimum of 5 spells, 8 maximum, and a 65% chance to learn. I'm not going to do the 65% chance to learn right now because we're doing this by D20. I feel like that's an unnecessary complication, but I am going to figure out what spells they have based on this D20. I take that back. If for whatever reason we have someone with with a 40% or below, I'll roll the percentile because there's an actual likelihood they're not going to make it out of the 14 spells that are in this version of D&D. Okay, so here's for the first one, rolling from column A. Column B, by the way, oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not doing that part. They actually give the potential of running into NPCs of higher level. I'm not having a third level person join the party right now. So we're going to give it. The trade off is, instead of them being able to roll from table B, which is second level spells, they'll roll from table A, and they'll have their minimum amount of spells. So I rolled a 20, so he has ventriloquism, because of course, why not, right? I'm also going to re-roll doubles. Also, if you have any questions about this particular version of D&D, please do ask. And roll again. That is a 6. 6 is enlargement. Just going to type that, or write that as enlarge. We have a 6 again. A 16. So we have sleep. Not that that's going to help him a lot, because he does wear armor right now. So if he chooses to take off his armor, he can cast sleep. 10. Magic missile. Okay. That's 4. We got one more. 2. Charm person. And if you're wanting to look inside the B1 and search the unknown to the table, that particular table is on page 29. Okay. So that is Irvo the elf. He has a flail, chainmail, and he has those 5 spells I just stated. Oh, his AC is going to be 6. And he has a sword or flail, but he can use a shield with that and drop that to a 5 if he ever gets one. So one of the things I noticed is the gear is really inadequate for a lot of what's going on. All right, here's for the next fighter. This is Glendor the 4th. Number 8. He has a polearm. And for armament, he has 7, so he has chainmail. Now, if you remember, my other game I played, the party started off with a lot more. It basically treated every NPC as PCs that hadn't been played yet. So this is actually starting them off more harsh and hardcore than even then. I don't know how I feel 100% about that right now. We may have to gift them with some stuff, because homeboy with leather and a shield that's not the worst roll. There is shield only and leather only. Next one we're going to be rolling, though, is Zephin the dwarf fighter. And he starts with number 4, which is a mace. So he is going to be armed with a crushing weapon. I also like the fact that they had more than one weapon. But not in this chart, because the potential of a +1 weapon is there. 5, leather and shield. All right. So our dwarf fighter, I guess they will get potentially more gear from the party. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. We have Alho, A-L-H-O, the renegade, the human fighter. Starts with number 4, which is a mace. Also, I don't know if you can see that very well. I'm going to try and roll more over here. Bounces a lot. 10 for armor. So he has a... Ooh. Okay. He's got a good thing here. So he's got chainmail. And he has a shield +1. So, for being that way, it's kind of crazy how there's good potential loot. I was going to show you, and I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. One of the things I'm building for whenever I get my thing set up is my little dice rolling cup. I guess you could say it's all styrofoam. I just kind of painted it up and threw it together. I'm going to be putting some flock in here in the little places to kind of give it just a little bit of a green. But I put some sand, I cut some boxes, I made it look rough. It's just a little thing to have the camera focus in on and for me to catch my dice in there by getting them in there. So that's going to be pretty fun. So he'll go there. Next one up is Krago of the Mountain. He's a dwarf fighter. I say dwarf fighter as if there's any other types of dwarves. That's a number 10, so it's going to be a Morning Star. I don't know, looking at this right here, if it's cocked to 10 for gear, chainmail and shield +1. If I'm a huge fan of this system, and let me explain why. So in original Dungeons and Dragons and in Home Edition, if you didn't use the optional rules in the original Dungeons and Dragons, all weapons do a d6 damage. So there's no perk of having a polearm versus a sword, for example. That's like player's discretion. Also, like that's not spelled right. Oh. Speaking of my whiteout, maybe. It's around here. I'm not going to look for it right now. I know what it's supposed to say. So in the Blue Homes, where this was supposed to be, there wasn't a whole lot of reason to have these different types of weapons. I don't know why they did that. I'm also not a huge fan of a 1 in 12 chance, which is like, well, like 8 times. It's 104, right? 8 times 12 is 104, so 7.9% of the time, whatever it is, of getting either a sword or a shield, potentially. No other magical armor. I could see people gain magic leather. I could see people gain magic plate mail and not having a magical shield. We already have more magical shields in the fighters than I ever saw in the Towers of Opus, which had zero magic shields. The fighter dies, it goes to the cleric. That's a really big upgrade for the cleric. Just saying. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and have that. Pindar. He is a halfling. He starts with a 3, so a hand axe. It's good for a halfling. I'm not against brand new characters starting with magic items if that's your world. I think that's fine. 2, leather armor. But I'm not a huge fan of it in this scenario because it just feels like we've already rolled it twice, if that makes sense. And I can't imagine, I mean, It's not very heroic for a fighter to start off with leather armor or a shield only. Can you imagine you really rolled bad? And we only have one weapon as it is. You had a short bow with 12 arrows, and that's all you had. Just 12 arrows. You better kill something quick. 11. Flail again. This is Moag the Wanderer, a human fighter. I also tend to base my names a little bit more in reality, but that's okay. 6. Here we go. Leather armor and shield. +1. So they tend to have a little bit more flavor. Why I'm choosing to do it this way, though, is I love the idea Yeah, you can see it. Okay. I love the idea that I could be using a character that maybe you ended up with when you were playing the game. Like, that really sounds cool. Here's Norin the Barbarian, who hopefully has a decent weapon. Number 3, he has a hand axe. Apparently, life has not been treating Norin well. And a 3, so leather armor and shield. I guess I hadn't been writing down their armor class. It's not a problem. I feel like that leather armor and shield will be replaced at some point in time in the future. We have Lefto. Lefto is a halfling. 3, we know that to be a hand axe. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask away. I do not mind talking about, as I said earlier, Homes Edition or original Dungeons and Dragons, or how BLUEHOME kind of fills in that gap or makes a modern retro clone of an old style. Oh, type of wrong dice. Type of armor. 6. Leather armor and shield. Interesting. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, we've rolled 8 characters, and so far we have 4 magic shields, as an example, because magic shields are actually on there twice. We've not rolled a magic sword yet. That could happen, but we have not had that happen yet. So we have Weberan of the Great North. He is a human fighter. Number 4, it's a mace. And Mr. Weberan is equipped with the number 11 plate mill, our first plate mill. All right, that's AC 3 with a mace. Gets himself a shield and he'll be good to go, especially a +1 shield. All right, this is for our last one of the fighting men. This is an elf, so he's going to get a weapon, or she, whatever that ends up being, a number 2, so a dagger and a sword. One of the few entries where you have more than one weapon as an option. Number 7 has chainmail. So our second elf also has metal armor, which makes them have to choose between whether or not they're going to use spells or they're going to wear armor. and be able to cast spells. Someone text me. I will look at that later. It's from my boss, but it's not probably video appropriate. It looks like it had some sort of meme in it. It's nice to get along with your boss where they send you memes at weird hours. Okay, so Mr. Shu Rimbo, the elf, has an 11 intelligence. And an 11 intelligence is 4 spells, so we will still have that. Let's go ahead and roll a d20. Here's for the first one. Number 13. That is read languages. I'm going to break my tradition of read languages, or not read language, excuse me. Read languages is fine. Read magic is the one I give. But I'm not going to do that anymore. Not for this. When I get back to other editions, I will. Number 3. So we have dancing lights. I wish the spaces were a little bigger. I can write smaller, but I don't necessarily want to do that. He also has sleep. So the problem I have so far is he wears metal armor in all 3 of these spells, except for relanguage, is a in combat type of spell. There's no like buff. But that probably means he'd take relanguage, and then if he ever ran into a problem, he could take his armor off and then cast a spell. 16, I'll re-roll that because that's sleep again. 3, we've already rolled, that's dancing lights. Number 10 is magic missile. So he will be our read magic person if we ever get that, so that they can take off their armor, cast read language, then don their armor back on and continue on their way. All right, so all the fighters on this list have now been figured out, minus their personalities and their alignment, because I'm going to make that completely random based upon the rules when we get there. Let me go ahead and put this over here. Next up is magic users, I think. Where's it? Clerics. It's clerics. Clerics and then magic users. So I have 12 clerics. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 character sheets for clerics. Looks like I will not be doing all my clerics. I will just do the 8 I have. And then what we'll do is I'll go ahead and do those off stream, but you get the general idea of what I'm doing on stream. So first cleric, his name is Farnid the Great Church. Of the Great Church. Okay, of the Great Church. That makes a lot more sense. He is human, as all clerics are. If I was to say anything, I would like a bigger place for names too. Like, I feel the art's great, but it's kind of crunching into things. 7 strength, 10 intelligence, 14 wisdom, 9 con, 14 dexterity. That's good. And 9 charisma. And we get arms and armament again. Again, this is going to be with these 6s. So here's for the first dice. 4. That's going to be a hammer. In this version of the game, they do actually get to use other equipment. And one of the interesting things about clerics is they don't actually have a place that says weapon and armor. They just have equipment and magic items. Because the concept is your cleric's not going to be getting in combat as much, I guess. And then for the armor type, 5. So they are wearing chainmail. Again, it gets more into what spells they might know and what level they are. I'm not going to be engaging in that. There's no reason for them not to be taking Cure Light when you're going into the dungeon. Let's just be honest. I think that might be for like scrolls, potentially. Okay. So, next one is Do Ram, servant of the Saint Carmichael. Okay. Very flowery, long names. And I got like an inch and a half to write it. Servant of the... I'm going to put ST for Saint, because I have no way I'm going to put that in there. I can't even get... It's karmic, apparently, because I can't get the ALE in there. That's not a message. And his stats are 10 strength, 12 intelligence, 14 wisdom, 10 constitution, 11 dex, and a 12 charisma. Okay. Oh, gear. Number 5. So he's going to have a flail. And a number 4. Leather and shield. Next one is Mulgar the Merciful. Oops, I skipped one. We'll finish out with Mulgar, and I'll go back to the number 3. This one has a 10, and then a 10, and 18 wisdom. That's awesome. That makes a whole lot of difference. An 8 constitution, a 12 dexterity, and a 17 charisma. That 17 charisma is meaningful. Here's for the weapon it uses. It uses a club. And it's equipped with a 6. That's chainmail and shield. There is no plate version for clerics. That's an interesting choice. Wow. That's weird. All right, let me go back to number 3. This is the Mystic One. That's the name. The Mystic One. The Mystic one has a 12 strength, then come on, 10, 15, 15 con, 11 dexterity, and a 12 charisma. And for gear, they have a 3 and a 1. So they have a quarterstaff, and no armor. No armor is a possibility when rolling a cleric. That's interesting. Not much of an adventuring career, but we'll see. Seeful the Unforgiving. All right. Seeful. Seeful. The Unforgive. Human. Seeful better be a strong person, is all I gotta say. They have a 6. They have an 8 intelligence, a 12 wisdom, a 12 con, an 11 dexterity, and a 10 charisma. They are equipped with a club. And they have leather and shield. All right, so we got some new people that have joined us. That's awesome. If you have any questions about early D&D, feel free to ask. The primary editions I've done videos on here in the last couple hundred videos actually has been in the original Dungeons & Dragons Homes Edition and now in Blue Homes. But I have played D&D since like 1989, so a long time. Feel free to ask about any of that or comparisons or whatever. We can talk about things like that. Unless you want me to just keep rolling dice and talk about the clerics and what I'm pulling from on the B1 in Search of the Unknown. For those who don't know, I'm going to be doing a solo play. And when I do the solo play, I'm going to be using these characters as NPCs. I did a video a couple days ago where I actually rolled stats up for the characters. Okay, so next character I'm going to be doing is Philgo. I'm doing the clerics right now. I just got done doing the fighters. This is Philgo, the human cleric. And Philgo has a 9 strength, 10 intelligence, a 13 wisdom, 9 constitution, a 7 dexterity, and 11 is not him. That's 12 for him. 11 is for the next guy. Oh, equipment. 4. Okay, so if you can imagine, you're showing up to play Dungeons & Dragons. They have you play an NPC real quick. They'll grab one. That's a hammer, by the way. They hand it to you, and you're Philgo here, right? You have the crazy stats of your highest one being a 13 wisdom, and you're equipped with a hammer and leather armor. That is not a lot. Of course, you wouldn't necessarily know how bad that is until later. Then you would feel really bad. The next one is Tacit. Tacit is the servant of the St. Cuthbert. Of St. Cuthbert. So Tacit is Tassit. Servant. Can't even get all that in there. Of Saint St. Cuth Cuthbert. St. Cuthbert is based off of a real saint, by the way, for those who do not know or are not necessarily super religious or into Catholicism. It is actually a true saint in Catholicism, the religion. But this guy only is equipped with a club. Could always be worse, right? And wears 6, so he has chainmail and shield. And that's all I gotta do for that one right now. Next one up is Wilbred the Silent. All right. Wilbred. I really wish I was saying that wrong. The Silent. Human, of course. Stats are 13 strength, 8 intelligence, wisdom of a 17. That's nice. Not that you need a high wisdom. 12 con. That would have been nice. A 9 dexterity and a 10 for charisma. Equipment 4. 4 is hammer. And no armor. Wow. How unfortunate. Alright, so I only had 8 character sheets on me. I need to get some more. But I'm going to go ahead and put these here. And then I will go ahead and finish that up off stream. And we will move on. The next one we have is magic users. I wonder how many magic user character sheets I have. When I printed them out, I didn't know how many I was going to have, so I ended up printing just a lot more fighters. And I have more fighters than I have anything. So that's why, but that's my magic user section. It's all gone. Here's my fighter section. It still has like 10. Let me go ahead and grab all my magic users. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 magic users, character sheets. Perfect. Also, I have several new that have been here, that are now here, that weren't here before. When I get to items, we're going to have encounters on orange and items on the green. And then I'm going to be rolling dice to see if each room is in. I'm going to be rolling first. We're going to break this out. We have 60 rooms, I think. We're going to break out 60 envelopes. I'm going to roll a d6 for each one of those envelopes for both the encounter and for the item or the loot that you can find there that's like bonus loot. And then after that, I'm going to shuffle up all the envelopes, having a lot of blanks in there, obviously. And then I'm going to number the envelopes, and then that will be what is the room. I won't know prior to me doing that, like what it is. I'm not going to know. It will be completely unknown to me until I open it at the table while I'm doing my playthrough. Okay. Magic users, there's 12, so I'm going to have to do 3 more off stream. First one is Presto the Elf. Wait. I might be able to do that because Presto the Elf just became a fighting mage. Because I have a separate character sheet for fighting mages. I only have a few. I have 3 left. So if I have 3 elves in this list, then you might have all the elves. This is what you get the character sheets. You get all these. I'm going to put a link, an affiliate link. Let me go ahead and do that real quick while I'm sitting here talking to you guys. For the character sheets, in case you want to get these character sheets too. And I'll try and put it in the comments so you guys can see that. And it'll let me see if that is a comment, if I can see the comments on my other screen. So this is telling me this is something I have. I own this. Yes, that's great. Still want to go to it. Why is this thing not letting me go to it? Oh, there we go. I am on it. It just is not showing it to me well. All right, if I come here and go to my chat. Oh, there we go. I can see. Oh, perfect. How can I chat? Chat? How do you chat? I see there. Hi there. Thank you for saying that. Oh, thank you, Steven. Steven is he watches a lot of my videos, shall we say. Let me get here. Hopefully it doesn't flag me for trying to go into my own content while I'm doing this, while I'm streaming or whatever. I want to get to comments. There we go. Actually, no. Let me do it differently. Go here to live. So sorry to do this right in the middle of the thing. Let me come here to edit. That's not what I do. Okay, that. There we go. And I gotta make it big again so I can save it. Nice. Okay, so sorry for the interruption. Looks like we lost a viewer. I apologize for that. I've now put an affiliate link. If you refresh the screen, you should be able to see it. That's going to be if you want to get these character sheets, or if you want to get the B1 in Search of the Unknown, or BLUEHOLME Prentice Rules. All the affiliate program does for me is it allows me to buy more PDFs and talk more about games I'm playing. Let me go ahead and write Presto down. So we have Presto, which I really think that name is silly. This is an elf. Presto has a 9 strength, a 17 intelligence. That's a good reason to be an elf for sure. 11 wisdom, 14 con, an 11 dexterity, and a 14 charisma. This character is OP. Presto feels like a favored character already. Okay, so they are equipped with a dagger. They have no special options. They have the ability to get spells. So I'm just going to write dagger down. Now, let me come back here real quick. A 17 intelligence can know 7 spells. It's a lot of spells. First one is number 9, which is light. First character to have light. This is a 19, so it's got Tinser's floating disc. Now, because this has fallen into the magic user side, this elf is not going to have armor. So it's not going to have the same problem or benefit, I should say, of the other ones. I put Tinser's float because I just do not have the space to write that. Number 10 is Magic Missile. And I put that in there also because if you are wanting to follow along or see what I'm doing or verifying I'm writing the right one, that's a 4, then you can literally follow along in the B1 in Search of the Unknown. This is Detect Magic. Okay, that's our 4th one. We have 3 more. This is a 9. 9 is light. We already have that one. 7 is Hold Portal. Okay. 6 is Enlarge. And we got 1 more. 8. So that is sorry, looking at the wrong list. Light, we don't need that one. 4, we already rolled that one. Detect Magic. 6, we've already rolled. That's Enlarge. 1, Charm Person. All right, so presto, the elf is done. Now we're going to go to Mezio, Mezio. This is not, okay, it's magic user. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, that is not what I want to do because Mezio is an elf. Mezio the elf. How many elves do we have here? We have 3 elves. 4 elves. I don't have enough elf character sheets. That's funny. All right, so we have an 11, 14 intelligence, 8 wisdom, 9 constitution, 12 dexterity, and a 13 charisma. We're going to give them a dagger because they need something. And then with a 14 intelligence, we have 5 potential spells. Number 8 is going to be light. $19 is going to be Tinser's floating disc. Again, I'm writing Tinser's float. 4, which is detect magic. $5, which is also detect magic. 14 is read magic. So I'm just going to put this out there. I really need an offensive spell. This character could have a real problem with no armor, with a dagger, and Yep. It's cocked. 7. Hold portal. Alrighty then. So light or hold portal. That's the 2 best spells this character has. I'm thinking on the elves, I might roll their weapon on the warrior side. I could see that being a thing. But still not putting them in any sort of armor. Okay, next one is named Nick Carr. It's a human. I'm going to just write Nick Carr next to this. Make sure I got that right. Nickar. Human. We have 11 strength, 15 intelligence. And we have an 8 wisdom, 12 con, 5 dex, 13 charisma. We have 15 intelligence. I think that's still 5. Nope, 6. So he gets number 9. He'll have 6 spells though. Number 9 is light. Number 18 is sleep. Eight is light. 18. Apparently we're just on a roll here. 14 is read magic. I've already rolled. 7 is hold portal. 4 spells. We got 2 more. Rolled a 10 for magic missile. And last but not least is number 3, which is dancing lights. So dancing lights is an interesting one. It loses some of the functionality. It gains some others based upon what it is. I haven't talked a whole lot about it. Let me get my drink real quick. It might be worth going over that sometime in the future, though. Oh. So have you guys ever played either Homes Edition back in 1977 or so, whenever you got to it, as a child or younger person? Or have you played Blue Homes? Do you guys have any point of context for the game I've been talking about so far? So, talked about silly names already. This name continues. Show Bapham, the human. It's spelled SHOBAFFUM. This is a human, right? Yes. And we are going to get the stats. We have a 7 strength, 13 intelligence, 9, 13, 11, and a 10 charisma. So 13 intelligence is 5. Yes, 5 spells. Oops, That's cocked. Number 7, which is hold portal. Number 4, detect magic. So in case anyone's wondering why I'm doing this, when the party goes to the area where we're going to have them regain people, there's going to be like, they're going to be able to go and get people, bring them back, and have them join the party. That's a 4, by the way, which you've already rolled. 9, which is light. And the people they're going to be able to bring back are going to be these people. So certainly not very heroic people. 10 is magic missile. So that gives us 4. We got 1 more. Number 6, enlarge. And they're all going to start off initially as hirelings. And then they'll promote through the rules, kind of like the rule suggestion that then I follow and do my own thing with, kind of idea. They're going to promote into being henchmen, and then maybe PCs. That's what Ronilda did. So Ronilda, this little human magic user I have here from the Towers of Opus, she was actually hired on as a torchbearer, and she spent 5 game sessions as a torchbearer, and then she and the party got betrayed by Grimwald, a fighter who is lawful evil or chaotic evil, and he betrayed the party, and she got away, and then when we found her, she told us what happened, because he trapped the party and basically split them. Anyways, Ronilda joined the party and has been there ever since, and now she's level 2. So, we're several minutes into this. I'll go ahead and show you some of what we got coming on. I don't know if I did a post on this. I know I talked about it, but I have bought a 5-pack of like different torchbearers and guards and that type of stuff. So here's one of my new torchbearers. You can see that guy right there. And I'm probably going to buy another one of these 5-packs. It was a pretty good deal. Here's my second torchbearer. You can see that right there. They got moderate amount of equipment. This one has a bow. And then they have a guard. So the party is going to start with this. This is going to be the party. And this is the guard for Ronilda. Ronilda's going to have her own guard, and then she's not going to carry a torch. We're going to have 2 torchbearers. And then the other characters I have, of course, I have Oddbird, who is one of the original 3 characters I made for the Towers of Opus, and that's my cleric. Oddbird the cleric. And then I have Indo the thief. And they're all painted up. And we'll have to decide what the other ones are going to be looking like. I have their character sheets over there. They're rolled. I've got a community post, if you guys haven't had a chance to go look at it, where I ask, like, I give the stats and I ask, what combination class do you guys think I should play? So far, the one I saw I had was a person suggested evangelist, and they suggested that it be a cleric thief. And while I'm not wholly opposed to that, I do think that is a very spicy name, but due to the class combination. I'm going to go to that real quick and see if anyone else has posted anything or put any thoughts out there. It looks like, I don't know. Go here to the comments. I'll look at all comments. We have no new comments, it looks like. It's like 3 posts ago. So, yep. No new comments. Okay, let me get back to filling out these character sheets, or we'll literally be here for the entirety of the night. Not that some of you guys wouldn't mind that necessarily, but I still have to eat. So the next guy is named Yar. It's a human. Also, I talked about this very early along, so if you just joined in the middle of the stream, you won't know this. I might go back and rename like Yar to Yarina or something, or Yartista, I don't know. To keep it close, but to make it a female and actually roll to have some of these characters made into females, because all the henchmen so far and hirelings are male. And I like a little variety in my game. Okay, this is a human. And Yar has a 11 strength, a 13 intelligence. Also, I gotta do my Duolingo at some point in time, or you're going to hear that a lot tonight. A 9 wisdom. Closer we get to midnight, the more that thing beeps at you. 13 con. Nope, excuse me, 12 con. A 5 dexterity. It's horrible. And a 13 charisma. Maybe Yar is like some sort of clumsy pirate or something. I don't know. But with a 13 intelligence, we know that gives them a 5. My miniature came out pretty good. I was looking at my delay on my screen. Here is for the first of the spells. Number 3. Yes. Number 3 is Dancing Lights. So in the Homes edition, they talk about different ways. That's a 3 again. That's cocked. They have a different way of like picking out whether your character is evil or not evil, and that type of stuff. And I'm going to roll that separately. 15 is Shield. The first one to have Shield as a spell. This is a 9, which is Light. $14, read magic. Really wish this was a little bit longer. Last one is a 9. I already have that one. A 19 is Tinzer's Floating Disc. Going to be titling that again, Tinzer's Float. All right. Next magic user down. Then we got Ralt Gather. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Ralt Gaither. Gaither? Gaither. Is that Gaither or Gaither? Let me know in the comments down below if you think that's Gaither or whether you think it's Gaither. It depends on which thing. The language I'm learning on Duolingo is German. Not that we're going to talk a lot about my personal history unless that's what you guys want me to talk about. But when I went to Kansas State University, that was my major, was German. So I still practice that in business. I still practice my German from time to time. So I can keep fresh. Human, right? Yes. Because that is a thing that you don't want to fall behind on. Spend all that time and then forget it. Geither, Mr. Ralt, I'll just go with Ralt, has 11 strength and 18 intelligence, which gives us 8 different spells. A 7 wisdom, 9 con, 14 dex, that's good. and a 10 charisma. Okay. So that is a 10, which is magic missile. And then we have an 18, which is sleep. So he has the spells he needs to know, for sure. 19 is Tinder's floating disc. I'm naming it Tinder's float. 17, that is sleep, so I re-roll that one again. 7 is hold portal. That's a good spell. Number 9 is light. We already have that one, right? No, we don't. Number 20 is ventriloquism. Now, funny enough, I had an elf with ventriloquism. Something he is probably never going to cast because he's going to be wearing armor, unless he's in like some sort of social setting. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 2 more. Number 6 is enlarge. And then a 19 is tensors. We've already got that one. 20, we've already got that one. Is ventriloquism. 12, protection from evil. It's the first time we've had that one. There's our 8. Next one is... Ooh, okay. Another one of these, I don't know how to say it because my German pronunciation wants to take charge. But I think it's supposed to be Finsig. Finsig. I want to pronounce it Finsig with a K because the end of a German word that has a G in it, like king, has a K sound. So in German, it's not spelled the same as it is in English, but it'd be pronounced König. That's K-O-N-I-G for king. But they pronounce König. Okay, so Finsig. I'm going to have to really pronounce that ig at the end, or I'm going to be butchering that horribly. But that's a name I can get behind. I hope we get this guy, and I hope this one does well. I don't know anything about that character other than that. I just like the name. So Finsig has an 8 strength, a 17 intelligence, so that's good. It's going to give him 7 spells, if I remember right, because we had another person, an elf actually. Yep, Presto had a 17 intelligence. We have a 10 wisdom, 5 con, oof, a 11 dexterity, and a 9 charisma. So charisma in this edition does have a little bit more meaning, especially when you're doing things like reputation and trying to get hirelings promoted to halflings. Oh Lord, getting hirelings promoted to henchmen. So there is a little bit of a difference. All right, here's for the first spell. Charisma can have a lot to do with that. I'll kind of read that at some point in time. First one's charm person. But I got a little more time to talk. Ooh, we got number 20 for ventriloquism. Okay. Number 12, protection from evil. I also know that if I roll for example, a Finzik as a evil elf, then that won't be protection from evil. That will be protection from good. I'm going to inverse that. So we have 4 more to roll. But it's cocked. Number 8 for light. So the recommendation is the halfling or hirelings basically have to respect you. You have to earn their trust. They have to find you someone they want to be around, so that you have that loyalty rating with them. And when you get that, then they stop worrying just about the money side of things and start worrying about like the relationship side of things. And if you have a charisma, that's how that kind of works. So you have 4, 3 more. So number 13, read languages. I'm putting that down as read lang. Number 4 is going to be detect magic. And then 19, Tinser's floating disc for our last one. So that's going to be named Tinser's float. Okay, yes, 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 and yes. Then we have Glam the Mighty. I'm interested in this guy. This is a human, right? Yes. And Glam the Mighty has a 12 strength, 15 intelligence, 15 wisdom, 7 constitution, 10 dex, and 11 charisma. That's a nice little bit. 15 gives you 6 spells. 15 is a shield. I could definitely work with Glam. 6 is going to be enlarge. Ten is going to be magic missile. And then we have a 9 for light. There's a 9 again. 7. Hold portal. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we get. All right, it's all 15. He gets one more. 9, which is light. We don't need that one. 6, we don't need that one because enlarge. 6 again. 4, detect magic. We don't have that one. Okay, so I know I've not been writing armor class. I don't really feel like it matters a whole lot for what we got going on. Dexterity doesn't actually increase your AC or improve your AC, and magic users can't use magic. And the elves we get here aren't going to actually have armor. All right, we got a comment from Ravi. It's been too long. Great seeing you again. Yeah, thank you, sir. If you're still watching, I truly miss talking with you, everything in the chats, and I look forward to being able to do that more sometime. If you're still here, feel free to ask any questions if you want. If you're wanting to know about original Dungeons & Dragons or Homes or how Blue Homes fits into that picture, because it is a retro clone that was made in 2017. So though these feel like old school rules as far as the character sheets go, and B1 is an old school module that came out with the the Homes edition, they were not made in the same, like, literally decades. One was in 1977, the other was in 2017. So they're literally 40 years apart from each other. So that's kind of what we're doing here, sort of a weird thing. My Life 360 is really blowing up. Okay, so here is Trebilos, the Boy Magician. Interesting. I would say this has to be a young man. Trebilos. Okay, so Trebios has a 9 strength, a 16 intelligence, a 9 wisdom, a 7 con, a 12 dexterity, and a 13 charisma. Very cool. 16 intelligence still is only 6 for spells. Oh, very nice there, Robbie. You been playing any games here lately? All right, number 4 is Detect Magic. $14 is going to be Read Magic. $7 is Hold Portal. $16 is Sleep. We got 6, right? Yes. 2 more. Number 6 is Enlarge. For only being on there one time, we have rolled Enlarge a lot. And number 18 is Sleep. And for Sleep being on there 3 times, it has not been rolled a lot, which is interesting. I'm going to take a little bit of drink here, my water and ice. So, personally, I have a couple games I'm wanting to run or get going myself. I have some friends that are out of town that want to do like a virtual through the VTT thing, Oriental Adventures from AD&D First Edition, or 1E. And then my daughter wants to play, and I'm debating on what system, but I think I'm going to be doing a BX version, which is the 1981 Mauve edition, which you saw the 2 box sets I have over here. I actually went and bought her a print on demand somewhere. It's down here. I bought her a print on demand BX book, the expert book. So she has all the rules basically she needs and she can play. But my thoughts are she doesn't need the book all the time. It's just get her into the use of being able to do it, and it's a BX book. So that'd be kind of fun. But with that, I don't know if you've ever played B Solo. It's a module. It's called Lion Keep or something like that. I'm going to be doing sort of a spin-off of that for our game. And in that game, you go to sleep inside an inn and you wake up and you're in an adventure. And the whole thing is done in Dreamscape. And the reason why I'm doing it there is because she's 9. So I don't want to have actual character death be something that she has to deal with at this point in time. She's kind of a soft soul. But eventually she will graduate from that and go into other things. And we're just going to do like old modules. Something that is not something I make, like the B1 stuff, and is kind of just like thrown out there and fun. That way she's not mad at me per se. And then we'll just play the game, and, you know, maybe I'll be able to put some of this up on the internet. Maybe I won't. I'm still playing in the 5e game with local friends, but I miss your old school setting. Great adventure. Thank you. I appreciate that. what Robbie is talking about is when I ran Keeping the Borderland, which is B2, I really set up the world in a big way. I'm going to be doing B2 again, and I'm actually going to be playing it in BX again, but I'm probably going to be doing it like I'm doing this one, just kind of solo. But that's sort of the plan. As I work, not necessarily through the entire B series, but for sure I want to do B1, B2, and probably B3, all of which I have the modules for. And then we'll see where this goes with things. Yeah, I'm not against 5e in some ways. I have the Welcome to Hellfire Club, but if I'm going to do that, I think I want to do that in AD&D 1e anyways. But I have some 5e books. I just don't like what Hasbro's doing. I'm pro 5e against, but pro 5e with like lots of house rules. But I'm against sort of what Hasbro's doing. I'm in a weird place. Hasbro took my game away, or is trying to in some ways. Anyways, let's not get into that unless that's what you guys are. Yeah, I do think it'd be a great, fun father-daughter type of, like a duet type of game, type of thing. I do want her to work on her social skills, and not just in that setting. So eventually, whenever I get everything set up, and she's older, we play with other people. My concern is I don't want to invite a bunch of children to come play D&D at my house unless I really know them well, because that sounds a little weird. Could be completely innocent, but it could. Parents could be concerned. We live in a different time era, shall we say, than when I was growing up. Next magic user is going to be Bezka Miltar. All right. So Bezka is Beska. Miltar is Miltar. Different name. Wouldn't it be funny if all these characters were actually characters in like Guy got this game and one of them were to actually like fall into it, this video, and be like, why is he making fun of my character's name? That was 12 when I made that, you know? That'd be humbling for me is what that would be. All right. And it would give me a great opportunity to talk to him, because anyone in those games back then, I would love to just pick their ear and talk to them a long time. Bezka only has a 13 intelligence, but it does have a 15 con, and in this game that gives you +1 hit points, which is massive. 8 dexterity is sad. 14 charisma is nice. One of the higher charisma, not the highest, but one of the higher ones. So a 15 intelligence is 6 spells. We have a 13 so far. It says read languages. $19 is Tinder's floating disc. Back to Tinder's float. We've rolled that one a lot. 6 is enlarge. 18 is sleep. I'm not sure about these dice. If you can see it, they're squishy. I didn't realize this when I got them, but they're actually made of silicone. So I don't think there's going to be rolling wonky or weird, though I've noticed some numbers keep popping up. But what I like about them is this. This is the D4. So no matter where you are, when you're looking down at it, you can see the number, which is really big. And the fact they're so big is nice. Like the D20 is not that big compared to like the D12, as you can see. But if I put Aldberg next to it, you can see like that's the size of Aldberg. And you don't have to worry about breaking your miniatures with metal or resin dice. Yeah, I like the grit of old school of early D&D, and I like the fact that you can actually die. It's harder to die. This is for the number 5, by the way. 7 is hold portal. Um, but there's so many ways that you can stay alive. Um, if you took care of that, I'm okay with save throws to wake back up. I think it's a good answer. I'm just fine with that. But if you're going to do that, then I think you have to take into consideration like other things that prevent you from dying, and maybe having the first heal you cast bring them back to 1 hit point, but they remain unconscious for the battle, and work from there. Like having it where you're just bouncing around continuously, I don't think that's. Once you're in a fight and you go under, this is 7. Can't do that with hold portal. We've already got that one right. Yes, I just rolled that. I just really feel like last one shield. That you shouldn't come back in the same fight, or you should be at like negatives, or have a hard time moving around, or maybe give it a couple rounds before you're able to come back. Did I? Nope, this is right. So the problem I have is I have an elf, and I don't have another fighter mage character sheet. So what I'm going to do is I probably have too many of these. I'm going to go into the untitled character sheets, which I'm using as the combination class character sheets. And I'm going to do that, and we'll save this one magic user character sheet for if I ever roll up more characters. So combination class characters. I haven't talked about that a whole lot. This is my elf. Let me do this real quick. This is Lape or Lapoi? Lapoi, the Unexpected. I wish I was making that up. It's page 29 in case you're wanting to go look at this in B1. Lappoy. Lapoi, the Unexpected. And this is going to be a elf. I almost said human. They have 11 strength, a 14 intelligence, a 9 wisdom, a 10 con, a 7 dex, and a 9 charisma. They don't really have a section for spells, so I'm going to put that underneath notes. So with a 14 intelligence, they have 5 spells. 14. And if they get around long enough, which is read magic, then I will go and redo their character sheet. They have to earn a magic user character sheet. Number 4. That's detect magic. So far, they don't have anything that would help them earn a new character sheet. I rolled a 4 again. 3 is Dancing Lights. Number 3 is still Dancing Lights. 15 is Shield. All right, we're down to the last one here. This has to be an offensive spell of some nature, or a buff that can actually put on someone that's necessarily worth it. 17, Sleep. Yeah, there's your spell. Sleep it is. Oh, and just so I'm not confused, I'm going to make sure for equipment, they have a dagger. don't even know why I'm rolling that dice. Last one is the surf, right? Yeah, Surfle. Surfle the human. Surfal. Surfle. They have a 12 strength, 14 wisdom, 14 intelligence, 11 wisdom, 8 con, 12 dex, and a 5 charisma. They are never going to have a henchman. 14 intelligence gives them 5. It is 5, not 4. 6. So that is going to be in large. We have rolled that one a lot, haven't we, today? $15 is shield. $19 is Tensor's floating disc. It gives us a third one. We have 18, which is going to be sleep. And a 6 for enlarge. We already have that one. 13 for read languages. All right. So that is the end of those guys. I have all my magic users done. So far, I just have a couple clerics I need to get more character sheets for. And then we are good. We have all the fighters. Now we have thieves. And then we got loot and encounters. We have 12 different thieves. Let me grab my book. This magic user sheet will go back in the magic user section. I tell you though, doing all these like this, I have learned how I would do 5e differently, and probably, or any of the new versions differently, and probably make a better game. Something that would be enjoyable. Oh, I don't know what that was. I feel like that's something telling me I have. Oh. Someone on Duolingo did something positive, and they want me to congratulate them. Okay. So we have 12 different thieves. I might be saving this for a different day. It's already 10:10 where I live. So I might be finishing out thieves, and then we'll do that part later. But I think I'm going to do that later this week on a live stream. Maybe we'll do the rest of the clerics on that same live stream. Okay, so we got Luven, Luven, the Light Finger. He is an halfling. Which is not possible in this version of the game, but I'm going to allow it because I think halflings being only fighters is restricting. But I'm going to allow it. This is how it was designed to be. We're going to leave it as it is. They don't put the thief stats in there. We'll just figure out what it is later. That's pretty standardized. But it has a 13 strength, 14 intelligence, a 9 wisdom, a 12 con, and a 16 dexterity, and a 13 charisma. They can have terrible weapons. They restricted him to only daggers, nothing, and a dagger +1. Holy cow. Okay. I'm going to say, considering thieves can use any weapons, I don't know what edition of the game this was truly designed for. That's absolutely insanity. Obviously, it was designed for Homes Edition, but even in Homes Edition, they could use any weapons. I'm going to say if they roll a 1 or a 2, I'm going to make that a sword. So we have at least weapons on the person. And really a bow would make a lot of sense. All right, if they roll a 1 on the D6, it's going to be a bow with 12 arrows. And if they roll a 2, it's going to be a sword. And everything else is daggers, apparently. So 3 is a dagger. That's crazy. And then for this, potentially they could have nothing. I'm still going to leave that 1 and 2 as nothing. And then everything after that's going to be leather. All right, so here's for the armor. 2. They have no armor. This is going to be a relatively quick one. Next character is Tredo. Treddo. Halfling again. Tredo has a 10 strength, 9 intelligence, a 7 wisdom, an 11 con, a 17 dexterity, and a 14. Tredo is armed with a 4, which is a dagger. And Tredo wears leather +1. You're wearing the armor you're going to wear for probably all of your life, if not given someone else after you die. Next one is Bozomus. All right. Bozomus. This is a human. And Bozomus has a 5 strength, a 9 intelligence, a 12 wisdom, a 6 con, a 13 dexterity, and a 12 charisma. Oh, no problem, Robbie. Cooking dinner is something I'm going to be doing here briefly. Not briefly. When we get done with this, I'm going to probably cook me up one of those pre-made. I buy it from Walmart. They have salmon and like potato and all that. Put it in for like 3 minutes and it's really good. 1, that's a bow. So he has a bow and 12 arrows. So arrow. I feel like I should be writing this next part in pencil. Times 12. It's cocked. 5. So we have leather armor. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's each percent of the dice is basically 16%. There's a 16% chance of having a magical dagger or magical armor for each character you roll, which is a little crazy to me. Well, we have the need for an elf, because apparently we have an elf magic user. I'm going to do that on another one of these character sheets, because we're going to have more to figure out. Elves can't be this. So he, instead of the, oh, I have to roll. Elves are fighter magic users or fighter thieves, or fire magic user thief. In other editions, in this edition, they're only fire magic users, called fighting mages. Let's go ahead and get this down. I'll figure out what I'm going to do roll in a second. This is Estra, last name Zoe. Estra Zoe. E-S-T-R-A, last name is Z-O, Zoe. Okay. They have a 12, an 11, a 7 Constitution, a 16 Dexterity, and a 12 Charisma. They're going to be equipped with 2. That's going to be the sword. They're going to be... Ooh. Okay. Nope. Not going to do it that way. I thought about doing it a different way. 5. So they get leather armor. Now, interestingly, in Blue Homes, I don't have the page number in front of me, but in Blue Homes, you're able to wear non-metallic armor and cast spells. When I do my Blue Home video talking about the Prentice Rules, you will see that. So that's interesting. I'm going to say okay, let's go to a D8. I'll grab a sticky note. Maybe. All my stuff is scattered and covered. This live stream was kind of an afterthought. I don't say an afterthought. I was thinking about doing it for a while. I'm going to write it down here. I got a place to write it. We have 3 class. So I'm going to call it a tri-class. And I have put that as an 8. Then we will have 7 to 4 is going to be the fighter. 1 to 3 is magic user. Okay, so 1 through 3 is magic user. 7 to 4 to 7, however you want to look at it, is fighter. And then 8 is all 3. So it's going to be fighter plus whatever. 6, so it's going to be a fighter thief. No magic. So this is going to be a combination class. Okay, how does a fighter thief combination class work in this version of the game? This is how it works. You take the base XP requirements for a fighter to get the 2nd level. You take the base requirements for a thief to get to the 2nd levels. And then that is what it takes for you to go. No more dividing the XP by half. So just to make sure I'm on my game, fighters require 2001 XP. Thieves require 1201 XP. So to get to level 2, he needs to have, or she needs to have, we haven't figured that part out yet, 3,202 XP. He has to have more than that to go up to a level. And then when that happens, Estra will become a level 2 in both classes. And that's how it works. Do we have any other elves? We have another elf. Okay. So we're going to do this a couple times. We'll do this again. I'm glad I made that little roll. What a terrible name for a character here. Lagamundo. Human thief. Lagamundo. Okay. And then we're going to have the stats, 11 strength, 10, 9, 13 con, 13 dexterity, and 6 charisma. Okay. Equipment. That's a 4. So they have a dagger. Equipment for armor. 6. They have leather plus 1. Alrighty. Well, the party just goes through a bunch of these characters. All the thieves will have the perfect armor and whatnot. Maybe some of the elves will adopt leather plus 1 armor or something, so they can cast spells. Then we have Vegener the Quick. Also human. That is spelled Feggener, the Quick. Human. Yes. And they have a 10 strength, 9 intelligence, 7 wisdom, 11 con, 17 dexterity, and a 14 charisma. And they are equipped with 3, so they have a dagger. I'm so glad I added those other weapons on there. And 2, they have no armor. Next one up is a dwarf named Mezron. Mezron. Dwarves in blue homes can actually, at least the pittance rules, cannot be thieves, but they can when you get to the journeyman rules. So we're going to be sort of playing in the fudgy area right now where they're doing this, because this is what B1 is expecting for their own module. And for 12, 9, 5, 9, 12, 6, 13, 12 is his stats. So not bad. Has a dagger. And 5, so he has leather armor. So Robbie says, Holmes was my first intro to D&D. I read it, but I never played it. As soon as I met a group to play with, they had AD&D. I'm assuming AD&D first edition. I can understand that. The first edition I played was AD&D second edition, so I get that. We looked at going back to what would be then BICME, I'm assuming. My Dungeon Master was the one trying to get us to go there because he liked the I'm pretty sure he liked the Gazetteers and that whole concept, but we never did it. Kind of sad we didn't. I think I would have liked that version maybe even more. But homes can be a little hard at first if you're not getting it. But it does a great job of cleaning up the rules from original Dungeons and Dragons, which was sort of like a assortment of notes to how to play a role-play game. Do not get me wrong. It was pretty cool, and a lot of people had a lot of fun, and I could sit down and play for sure. But it was not an easy set of rules to learn. Homes was way easier in my opinion. AD&D was far easier to learn even. All right, next character is a human named Dreb. D-R-E-B-B. Human. And Dreb has a 7 strength, a 12 intelligence, a 10 wisdom, an 11 constitution, a 12 dexterity, and 11 charisma. That is very Dreb, is what that is. Very down the middle. Has a dagger, so fitting the minimum, I guess. Oh, and he has leather armor +1. So that's kind of fun. Then we have another elf. This is Postu, maybe. I'll spell it. Postue. Postu. I don't know. Elf. We're going to pull out that D8. We're going to use the same numbers just for helping people remember. 1 through 3 is thief, mage. 4 through 7 is fighter, and 8 is a tri-star. Is a tri-class. So all 3 classes. 1. So we are going to have 1 that is a magic user, thief. And I put that right onto a thief character sheet. Oh well. We're just going to now have enough character sheets. So we have 10 strength, 8 intelligence, 7, 10, 18 dexterity, and a 12 charisma. Nice. All right. So with an 8 intelligence, which is horrible, I might add, for a magic user, that means they have a minimum of 3 spells and a 40% chance. So we are now at the threshold where I've got to roll this, and I've got to roll these. Okay. 15. This is... Let me go back to my magic user page. So I can look at spells. $15 is shield. Will I actually memorize shield? That is a 65%. That is a no. Shield is gone forever. So on the right side, in the back, I'm going to write shield. What that means, and I guess in a way I should have been doing this the whole time, is this character can never learn shield. Not next level, not in the future, nothing. 18, sleep. Big sleep spell. 50, can never learn sleep. I didn't think about this part. This part would have been, can't learn sleep. 7, hold portal. 48, no, 84, excuse me. Doesn't matter either way. 8 is light. 31. Yay, we have a spell. $18, can't learn it. 4, detect magic. 24, we are good. Eight is light. 17, can't learn it. Can't learn light again. 15 is shield, can't learn it. I'm back to an 8 again. 12. That is protection from evil. 89. $17 is asleep, can't learn it. 4 we've already got, right? Yes. 7 is hold portal. I think that's one I can't learn. Yes. 9 is light. 16 is sleep. 12 is protection from evil. 10, magic missile. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Need this one. How many do I have? This is my last spell, potentially. 5. Begow. Magic missile. Boy, it really makes you want to get it. So, what I liked about Mystara and about Bikme is it took the rule. So, I was thinking about this. I really feel like the Bikme without the eye probably would have been the best version of the rules. The Immortal set really kind of makes its own game. So it's not the same thing. I don't know how I feel about that aspect of it. I think the Immortal game is fine. I just don't think it's necessarily anything your character should ever have to want or worry about. 4, so it's going to have a dagger. And 4, so it's going to have leather armor. So, Mr. Postu has light, detect magic, and magic missile while being a thief and an elf. And then the last one I'm going to be able to do right now is Harg of the City Afar, a human thief. It's Harg of the City Afar, as in like distance. Human, 9 strength, 13 intelligence, 8 wisdom, 10 con, 13 dex, and a 9 charisma. He is armed, or she is armed with 6 first magical dagger, at least for this group. The party so far has like 2 daggers and a sword for magic items. And he has magic leather armor. I rolled literally 2 6s. So Harg from the City Afar is pretty well camped and ready to go. So I don't think I'm going to do the stuff, but I will for the the envelopes and everything. I will do that in a future one. But I will go over in the last few minutes here and give people a chance to talk about the equipment that can be found. Still got some more here to go through. Somewhere around here, I have my list. I'll just swap over to it here. Give me a second. So I bought a lot of PDFs, and I have PDFs for both the rules I've already talked about, and then I've got PDFs for modules and whatnot. So I've already got me a heap of modules already. Okay, so let me go real quickly. There are wandering monsters encounters every 3 turns. They have a wandering monster encounter. And every time you enter a room, you're supposed to roll this randomly and then write it into the book, which I've chosen not to. I showed earlier in the actual book, which I have over here for B1, that someone had wrote in the book what the encounter was. This book is kind of falling apart, so I've really chosen not to do it. There's a little bit of highlights. Oh, here we go. Back here to the Black Widow. And you can see here, the Black Widow is one of the encounters that someone had rolled in this version. This is the one that did not come in the Holmes Basic box. This was sold separately. The one that came in the Holmes Basic box was a lot more like the other 2 I have. The Geomorphs, which also came in that same box set, and the Monsters Treasure and Assortment. So same type of thing. And they were this monochrome for the modules that came in the box sets. That's how you know if that one came in the box set. But they have wandering monsters. So there's 6 different options: troglodytes, huge spiders, kobolds, orcs, zombies, goblins on the first level. And then when you go down a level, it gets to be a little bit tougher. I'll see if I can find it as I'm scrolling. Or maybe I was the second level already. Anyways, so they have monster lists. So room monsters potentially could be orcs, troglodytes, kobolds, ghouls, centipedes, carrion crawlers. Ooh, I got that miniature. Got 2 of those. I only need 1. Orcs, a couple times on there. Large spider. Troglodyte, giant tick, Sturgis. I have Sturgis miniatures. They're not painted yet. They're one of the things I got to paint here next. Gnolls, Shriekers. I actually have Shriekers. I have so many mushrooms. It's kind of ridiculous. These are my Shriekers, though. They're not... Well, are these... Yeah, Shrieker and these are Shrieker fungus. And I have other ones. But I have a whole mycinid army. It's one of the next things I've actually been wanting to paint up. I just haven't. I have literally a whole mycid army. It's going to be fun at some point in time in the future. I have them mounted up on pennies. anyways, I haven't got my color convention set up for yet, so I haven't done it. But we have shriekers, we have skeletons, then we have hobgoblins, goblins, giant rats, lots of giant rats, zombies, skeletons, bandits, orca jellies. I actually got them painted. I say they're right here. I can't see them. Here we go. I have my little jellies right here. Oh, for sure we will play together again there, Robbie. I look forward to that day. I actually tried to get something together with the two from Texas that played in that group. Unfortunately, one's not feeling well. I don't want to put his business out there. So I don't know how it's up, but I hope he reaches back out to me. We have kobolds, bandits, orca jellies, gnomes are a potential enemy, or at least an encounter. And then we have orcs, huge spider again, and goblins. So that's the list of bad guys. Then for wealth, this is bonus wealth. So rooms come with whatever the room comes with. It might be something you want, or it may not be something you want. But for bonus wealth, we have a leather pouch with 10 electrum pieces, 15 gold, 28 gold, small wooden box with 35 gold, dagger with jewel in the handle, worth a lot. I'll just say that. That's basically a character level up. 200 silver pieces, 8 and 10 gold piece gems, type of agates, a magical mace, a false map, a spear, I'll just say that, magical spear, 120 gold, silver medallion with on cloth worth a decent amount. We have 100 gold piece gem. We have a statue. We have a hull of silver. We have 400 gold piece gems. We have a 620 in a locked chest. Scrolls for clerics. Well, the one is. The other one you roll randomly. There's a magic wand. There's a bag that is magic. I'll say that. We have a 500 gold piece gem, a magic shield, bronze statue, good value, silver mirror, magic chainmail, gold ring, scroll, magic user, then roll randomly, silver bracelet, a chest with an assortment of coins, a magic ring, 4 small gold rods, crystal goblet, potions, yep, and that's it. So there are 34 different treasures. They talked about the fact that 15 to 20 of those treasures should be added to the map. There are going to be further rules on what that should be, or I will just roll a d6 and then I will go ahead and separate that out, and then we'll shuffle it in, and I'm just going to literally just throw them inside cards with one green and one orange, and then we will have each one of the envelopes filled, and then after they're filled, I'll go ahead and associate a room number. So even though we might get something we don't know, that may or may not actually make it into the dungeon, or I might not go into that room. That makes B1 in Search of the Unknown replayable, in my opinion, with different groups and different fun. And because all these characters are going to be made, I can go back and not have to do this part again moving in the future, which I think is going to make it a lot of fun. So I hope to do this more. Let me know in the comments if some of this parts was really bad or you didn't enjoy certain pieces, so that it helps me understand what I could do better. And I haven't said recently, so I'll say it again. I'm working on a solution so that I can have multiple cameras up at the same time. My old computer I built in 2009 has kind of sustained some damage to the USB ports, and I don't have any USB-C ports, so I can't do a lot of the fancy stuff. But we're still up and going, as you can see, so it's still chugging along. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching so far. How many do we have right now? We have one person I'm talking to. So that's great. Whoever you are, thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the viewers. At one point in time, we were up to 5 a couple times. So that's pretty awesome. I've never had 5 people for any period of time. But keep rolling those dice and see you guys in the next one.